Cecil Harvey's transformation from Dark Knight to Paladin in Final Fantasy IV 1991 was a watershed moment not just for the Final Fantasy series, but the RPG storytelling as a whole. His morally complex redemption arc, playable through his loss of power, spiritual trial, and rebirth as a holy warrior, introduced narrative and mechanical innovations that had never been seen in the genre before. Unlike the static heroes of earlier RPGs, Cecil's journey was one of guilt, atonement, and growth, with his class change serving as both a symbolic and gameplay-driven evolution. Phantasy Star had death, but the characters had little to no expression. Dragon Quest had heroes who grew from sacrifice, but little dialogue was projected into the main narrative. This shift influenced how RPGs could intertwine character development with interactive storytelling, setting a precedent for future classics like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI and beyond. Cecil's story didn't just elevate Final Fantasy, it helped redefine what video game narratives could achieve. At the beginning of the game, Cecil is a conflicted warrior, loyal to the Kingdom of Baron, yet tormented by the atrocity he commits under its orders. His inner turmoil is established early when he questioned King Baron's commands to slaughter innocent mages in Mysidia, only to be stripped of his rank and sent on a suicide mission as punishment. This moment is crucial because it marks Cecil as a different kind of protagonist, one burdened by guilt rather than a blank slate hero. The weight of this failure drives his early arc, as he is stripped of his command and sent to deliver a false peace offering to the village of Miss. Another mission that ends in disaster, where a bomb hidden in his cargo kills the mother of the future ally Rydia along with the entire village. His journey isn't just about gaining power for power's sake, it's about seeking redemption for the blood on his hands. These failures compound when Cecil is unable to protect his closest companions. After forming a bond with the young summoner Rydia, he watches helplessly as she is seemingly killed in battle with the Mist Dragon, an event that leaves him terribly and visibly shaken. Later, when his best friend Kain is brainwashed by Golbez, Cecil is again powerless to intervene, and Kain's subsequent betrayals become a recurring source of anguish. Even his love interest Rosa is not spared when she falls deathly ill from a desert fever. Cecil is forced to leave her behind in Kaipo to continue his mission, a decision that torments him. Each of these moments reinforces Cecil's growing self-doubt, making it clear that his strength as a Dark Knight is meaningless if he cannot safeguard those who depend on him. The turning point comes on Mount Ordeals, where Cecil undergoes a trial to prove his worthiness as a paladin. Unlike traditional RPG class changes where often it is purely mechanical, Cecil's transformation is deeply tied to the narrative. He must confront a spectral version of himself, his dark past given physical form, and defeat it, symbolizing his rejection of violence with purpose. This moment is reinforced by the loss of his Dark Knight abilities, forcing the player to adapt to a new defensive playstyle that mirrors Cecil's shift from aggressor to protector. The game even reinforces this thematically by having his new paladin powers, such as healing and defending allies, directly impact later story beats. For example, in the Underworld, his ability to smite undead enemies saves the lives of Edward, the very king he once failed to protect, illustrating how his redemption has tangible consequences. Beyond gameplay, Cecil's transformation reshapes his relationship with other characters, making the world feel reactive and alive. Kain, his best friend and fellow knight, struggles with jealousy over Cecil's purity, feeling his later betrayal of Golbez. Rosa, Cecil's love interest, serves as his moral anchor, but it's only after he becomes a paladin that he truly feels worthy of her faith in him. Even minor characters, like the sage Tella, acknowledge Cecil's growth, contrasting his former role as Baron's enforcer with his new identity as a leader of the resistance. Moving on to Cecil's visual transformation in the game, it is a masterclass in the use of character design to reflect narrative and emotional growth. When we first meet Cecil, his appearance as a Dark Knight is striking yet ominous. Clad in jet black armor with sharp angular lines, his helmet obscuring much of his face, and his sword radiating a sinister aura. This design perfectly encapsulates his initial role as a conflicted enforcer. The armor symbolizes his emotional barriers to his loyalty to Baron's corrupt regime and the violence he inflicts without question. Even his battle stance, hunched forward, sword gripped tightly, suggests aggression and inner turmoil. The darkness of his attire visually aligns him with the game's early antagonists, reinforcing how far he must go to redeem himself. The first major shift in Cecil's appearance occurs after he defies Baron and flees with Kane and Rosa. Though still in his Dark Knight garb, the narrative begins to peel back his armor, both literally and figuratively. In cutscene, he removes his helmet more frequently, allowing players to see his face and emotions, particularly during moments of guilt, when he confesses his role in Rydia's trauma. This subtle change foreshadows his eventual shedding of the Dark Knight identity. The transformation reaches its climax on Mount Ordeals, where Cecil's armor is literally stripped away in a burst of light as he becomes a paladin. His new design is a study in contrasts, gleaming silver and blue armor, a flowing cape, and a softer, more open helmet that reveals his face, symbolizing clarity, purity, and a commitment to protection. Even his sword, now holy and radiant, replaces the Dark Knight's brutal and curved blade with a straight, noble weapon. The game emphasizes this change in a dramatic cutscene where Cecil's paladin form emerges from the light, stunning his allies and marking the moment he becomes a true hero. Later scenes reinforce the stunning visual effects of Cecil's transformation. In the underworld, his paladin glow allows him to repel undead enemies, a literal manifestation of his newfound purity. His design also contrasts sharply with Kane, who remains in dark, spiked armor, highlighting their diverging paths. Even small details like Cecil's battle animations change. As a Dark Knight, his attacks are heavily forceful, while as a paladin, his movements are graceful and defensive, often shielding allies. By the game's finale, Cecil's design has become synonymous with hope, his bright armor standing out against the lunar dungeon's darkness as he confronts Samus. This visual journey from obscured villainy to radiant hero was revolutionary for its time, proving that a character's appearance could evolve alongside their arc, deepening the player's emotional connection. The story's legacy is evident in later RPGs, where protagonists like Noctis from 15 and Zidane from 9 undergo similar visual metamorphoses to reflect their growth as characters. Cecil's transformation remains one of the most iconic, a testament to the power of design and storytelling. The level of character-driven storytelling was unprecedented in RPGs at the time. Most party members in earlier games were silent or static, but in FF4 they realized Cecil's evolution in ways that deepen the narrative. Thank you, dear viewer, for listening. Please subscribe, share, and comment telling me what you think of Cecil Harvey and what you want to see discussed in the future. Goodbye.